Welcome back to the Jock Podcast. Today we're here in Huntersville, and it's not just me and Nick, as we promised. We've got a fun guest for you. Retired UFC fighter, recently retired. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner, man of family and faith, and a coach and an amazing cornerman to Nick and a few others. Joe Solecki here on the podcast. Woo! We're going to do a fun little cheers for you guys. Cheers. We got a fun episode for you. I want to start it off with a little backstory. Joe, you've got a bit of a name now with the work you've done throughout your life and your career. But for those who don't know you, or even if that do, I'd love to hear how you got started on your MMA journey. Maybe little Joey back in the day. Take us back.
That is how it started. It's funny because you say like I have a name. Like I really don't think I do. Yeah. And then you meet someone who like really likes the sport and they watch all the prelims, and then they know you. You know, it's very rare. Like it doesn't carry over like that. I think it's actually kind of a blessing that it doesn't. But so I started kind of by accident when I was like 6. So I wanted to do karate when I was like maybe 4. I wasn't school age yet. My parents like, we're not sending you activity. I mean, I think now kids start things a lot earlier, but this is like 97. My parents would say that it was town politics, that my brother was not getting playing time in baseball because we moved neighborhoods. Yeah. I like to say he sucked. Yes, for sure. Yes, it is. They always like, well, Dad didn't mow the fields, and the other dads didn't. Like, you knew that your brother was third base, and they put him at first, and so they were like, we'll send him. So like a solo activity instead of a team. If he likes it when you're school age, you'll go. So that was 97. He starts karate. He was doing really good. They started bringing in a little jiu-jitsu because, remember, like this is right outside Philadelphia in New Jersey, maybe like 20 minutes from the city. So kind of like where we are to Charlotte. Yep. And that's one of the only schools is in the city. So it was, now you wouldn't go take 6 months of classes and start teaching it. You shouldn't. But back then, that was all that was out there. It was better than the videotapes. So the owner of that gym, actually, who now owns actually the Good Fight Jiu-Jitsu tournament, which is around a lot, so you see that in places. Mm-hmm. He started teaching it at his school. And then by the time I got there, he had switched the whole school over, got rid of karate, except for the kids that were already doing it. So I started in jiu-jitsu. That was 1999, all by accident. Like, I don't think my parents necessarily would have wanted us, like, we wouldn't have grown up being wrestlers or like, we were kind of not contact sports, like no hockey, no football, baseball, basketball, all that fine. So that was kind of an accident. We stayed there for like 2 years. He had an instructor who he's learning under who was mostly going to the city, John Hassett. And we knew him the whole time. He was kind of like the affiliate head almost. And he was far away. So we would go down there for like cross training and stuff. My mom was like, man, if that guy ever comes around here, like we just love him. He's so great. I want you around somebody like that. So we were getting ready to leave the school because, the program had kind of disintegrated. Looking at some other places, I remember being really like worried about it. And oddly enough, he had moved up closer. So we went there. It was a no-brainer. And that was there from, maybe 8 till 19 when I left. So, but when I went there, the tricky part was they had kids karate. They didn't have jiu-jitsu. Okay. So, because they were all in the same types of karate, they were very good friends. So it worked well. He knew us. It was great. But I go in and go, well, this is flipped on its head. Like I hadn't been doing karate. Now I have to start in that. I've been doing jiu-jitsu. They don't have that. So he was awesome. He led an 8-year-old in the adult class for jiu-jitsu. And then I did karate twice a week. So I did 2 and 2 or 2 and 1. So right out of the gate with jiu-jitsu, I was training with the adults out of the gate. So they were like super cool to me. It wasn't as accessible. So it wasn't like the crowd it is now. You got doctors, lawyers, like it was super blue collar and rugged. And I was like, yo, this is awesome. Mm-hmm. Like this was the coolest thing ever. Mm-hmm. So did that, started having, friends outside of school. As I get older and older, I really had no interest in high school or like it just seemed so, not that I was above that and smarter than that, but it was like so trivial. Like, oh, this person is dating that person. This person is saying this about that guy. And I was like, this seems so little. Like, I go to a place with adults, they treat me with respect, and I'm 15. I'm talking crap with a 30-year-old texting him from high school, going, I'm going to kill you tonight, Yeah. And it just worked. I was horrible. So I mean, every competition from 6 to 16, like, I mean, where like if it was my kid, I'd pull him aside, and be like, are you even trying? Like, just be honest with me. Like taken down, submit it in 12 seconds. Like not out of the question, So I was really bad, but my coach would always be like, listen, like it's going to click. It's just a matter of when. So took forever. Kept competing, kept training. 16, it actually starts to pick up a little bit. And then that was where like my body, my mind kind of met and I started having success. I would say by like 17, winning a lot. I kept a spreadsheet like a complete sociopath.
Oh, wow.
Of every year from 07 on. And you see it change and change and change to where it's like, holy cow, like, the ratio is nuts. And by the time I was 17, 18, I was beating black belts regularly. I was competing at some of the biggest competitions and starting to make a switch. You know, it wasn't quite where it is now, like no signs of being like a UFC fighter or anything, but it was like, okay, I could do this. You know, I got very lucky. I feel like with Hassett, I got brainwashed, you know, in the best way possible. Like,
but does that also keep you going when you're 6-16 of no success?
For sure. I'm having fun. You know?
Right.
And that's why like all these parents are like, specialize and do this. I actually did specialize. I shouldn't have. It was an accident. I didn't want to do anything else. It wasn't going like, there's no scholarships. There's no, and even the UFC back then is, you know, they're walking in beanies and a hoodie in the cage, you know, it's Tank Abbott. Like, it's not going, hey, I'm going to keep my kid in this so he can buy us a house one day.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, if you want to play basketball, it's fine. We'll just take off jiu-jitsu this season. It's like, actually, I thought I did. I don't want to play basketball anymore.
Yeah.
Like, never did anything else.
Well, because it's also you're in middle school and all these areas where you have friends, but you're not performing for your school now. You're performing for
exactly. So like, I won Pan Ams in high school. I didn't make a newsletter or a newspaper or anything. It was just like, oh, that's gay. Because I was, you know, you wear a shirt with somebody doing an arm lock, and all of a sudden you're getting jokes made.
Yeah.
Because UFC's on Fuel TV, or you know, I'm watching on Versus Network, you know, at 11 o'clock at night. No one knows what it is. Now you'd be the man. Like even doing jiu-jitsu, it'd be like, oh, it's kind of like MMA. You know, it's one aspect. But man, not that. It was not that.
Were you popular in high school?
No. No. I had like 5 very close friends. There was 6 of us. We always refer to ourselves as the squad. Okay. But then other people would refer to us as the squad, which was really weird. Because you would never see us without each other. We had a very small high school. It was probably like 800 students, like 200 in each grade.
Yeah.
And then senior year, we decided we had enough of all like the jockish, not to put it out on the podcast.
No, that's good.
But like just like
that's why we're
the cool kids. Yeah, like the cool kids and all that. We're like, dude, you know what? Like student council is always a popularity contest. Like we ran what the teachers called a guerrilla warfare campaign, because this is when YouTube's kind of new.
Yeah.
And we started doing social media marketing, and we smashed it. And one of the teachers that we were friends with, because we were friends with teachers because we were losers, was like, hey, you won 78% of the votes. But before that, no one knew who we were. Wow. Like one of the friends was on the basketball team. That was about it. He kind of mingled with the other kids. Yeah. But like, I literally remember standing in the high school in this hallway senior year, and a girl that I had gone to school with 4 years, very small school, talking to my friend and going, oh, hi, are you new? And I was like, I've been going here for 4 years. Like, not out of the question at all, you know? Just not for me. I just had no interest in it. Yeah. College, I had less interest in. So, horrible.
Yeah, that's extremely insightful. You're saying, like, you're looking at it with that perspective in middle school. Like, I'm not about the popularity. Like I don't care about any of that.
Yeah, it just seems so trivial. Like, and I always joke, because, like, I think we've had, like, 3 professional athletes from my high school ever. I was like, they'll never let me back in there because they know if I get that microphone, instead of everybody else where you're like, this is the best 4 years of your life, I'm going to be like, guys, listen, there's a whole world out there. Like, I have a wife, I have kids, I have cool friends. Like, this is awesome. Like, this place sucks, you know?
Yeah. Wow. Oh, my gosh. That is funny. So you take it from, at that point, right, 16, 17, 18, you're starting to see success. Is that when what happened now? You go to North Carolina and then you start.
Yeah, so my parents I'm the youngest of 3 by a good bit. My brother's 5 years older. My sister's 7 years older.
Okay.
My sister had moved to South Carolina. My parents wanted to not retire. My dad was going to start working remotely and pull back a little bit from his work up there. So to get in-state tuition, like kind of not had to go, but kind of had to go. Like I had really good grades, but not enough to get like a scholarship to a school that I'm going to go live at and spend all this money. So I go to Coastal Carolina outside of Myrtle Beach.
Nice.
I majored in jiu-jitsu pretty much. But the problem was there was no good jiu-jitsu there. And I don't mean that, like now there is, but this is 2012. Okay. So it's like, and there's not really good MMA, but they're doing MMA. So I'm like trying to find, my dreams are shot. Like I want to go to ADCC, I want to do all these things, and I'm going to have to fight MMA.
That was still the plan though in college? Like
yeah. Like my family really did not want me to fight MMA at all. And I really wanted to finish the course before I even thought about that. Like that was always my goal, was to be in the UFC. But I was like, I'll settle for doing jiu-jitsu at a high level, and I'll be fine. It'll be the same. And every competition I'm doing, it's a made up, make pretend fight camp in my head. Like I'm still just treating it like an MMA fight, which probably helped a lot. But God had other plans. So as I'm going, some things happen. All these things happen where I end up being on my own for the first time almost ever. So I've trained a couple different gyms. Find a good jiu-jitsu gym opens up finally with another Long Islander. It was a Sarah affiliate. And just some things happened where it ended up going, school didn't work out, this, that, the other thing. I had just met Casey, and then some things happened where I was on my own for the first time ever. Mm-hmm. Couldn't stay in school, didn't choose to drop out. My grades weren't exactly great, so they didn't really want me back. Mm-hmm. But and then I was like, man, I'm going to fight. And it was in 7 weeks. So I took a fight. Because like down there, they've done a really good job making an echo chamber with MMA. Not so much anymore. Back then we had So in Charlotte, we had Fight Lab. Their kind of counterpart in Myrtle Beach was Warfare, and they did a really good job marketing locally. So there's no pro sports down there besides the Myrtle Beach Pelicans. So these guys who were like crappy amateurs were like household names. Like they go to Broadway at the beach and they're getting free drinks and this and that. Like they're living it up like they're UFC fighters in Vegas, you know?
Yeah.
But what came with that was you can get sponsors. You could make a couple grand off an amateur fight. So I was like, oh, it's a no-brainer. I need money.
Yeah.
I'll do a crash course in MMA for 7 weeks, go fight and get some money. And that's what I did. And that was it. But like the second I made that switch, it was like, all right, like I'm going to the UFC. And that was the dumbest thing in the world because I have no kickboxing, didn't wrestle, and I'm just doing jiu-jitsu. It was the most foolish thing in the world. You know, like couldn't think of a worse thing to do. And my coach at the time was trying to get me to go straight pro. You're really good at jiu-jitsu. Don't worry about that. I'm like,
wow,
bro, I would have been a dead man.
Yeah. So how did you then put it all together? Was it kind of the
it was a crash course? Oh, just started sparring.
Throw you in there and figure it out, and then you learn.
I have my first pad session on video. I'll find it. It's horrible. Like it's like, oh, like vomit bad. Like you go, oh my gosh, this guy couldn't fight. Like I don't think he should be driving a car. Like so bad.
That's
like
incredible.
So bad.
Yeah.
And one of the guys at the gym was helping me with kickboxing. He was actually a very good pad holder. And later on, we left that gym. I would meet him at his house. This guy's like big 300-pound guy, moves like a cat in jiu-jitsu, really knowledgeable, and a very good like Dutch style kickboxing guy. But I'd go meet him at his house. He lived at his in-laws, and he'd meet me in the driveway. And he'd smoke cigarettes between rounds, but he wouldn't get tired. He was a great coach. Like so, he was really helpful. My coach at the time was like delusionally confident in me.
Yeah.
And we just kind of sparred and hit pads and fought 7 weeks later. It was.
And how did you do like those early fights with your limited kickboxing knowledge?
I had so I did all 5 amateur fights that were mandatory in 10 months. Or no, well, actually, 10 months. I wanted to be pro in a year. That was my goal. Okay. So I did all 5. They were all first round finishes. I think it was 8 minutes total, the whole amateur career. Yeah, it was all submissions.
All subs?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the first 3 pro fights, I think were 6 minutes total. So I was in the cage for less than 15 minutes for my first 8 fights. Which is cool, but it's actually kind of a curse.
Yeah,
you know?
Of course. Yeah.
So you're getting all this success with, So yeah, I mean, it was just off the races, and in my mind, you couldn't tell me anything else. It was like, I'm going to the UFC immediately, which is just the dumbest thing.
No,
ever.
but when you have that's the blessing and the curse, right?
Sure.
When you have a start like that, you're like, this is it. This is what we're doing.
Absolutely.
For you though, it did work out that way, right? So how do you then go from you're having the success to the UFC? Like, how does that work?
I mean, it was a lot of this, and it was a lot of what would seem like, because MMA guys get the reputation of like gym hoppers, but I ended up falling victim to a lot of weird circumstances. Like, put my faith in a coach. He has like a complete midlife meltdown, losing his mind, not coming to the gym, coming to sparring and fights, like drinking, like just really rough, you know?
Yeah.
End up leaving the gym, losing that support system. So you're like, dang, like this is, so it's just me and Casey through all of this.
Yeah.
Go to another gym, was training at Fitness Edge MMA in Myrtle Beach, great gym. At the time, he runs a different gym now, but Derek Kennington was the coach. He had fought in Bellator twice. So like, that was like the first well-rounded coach I had. He could hold pads, black belt in jiu-jitsu, good with like mindset, like very helpful with all that stuff. And that was really good for a while. It was great. And then they kind of were having trouble at the gym. He ended up starting his own thing. But before that, I had kind of just outgrown what I felt like. I wasn't progressing in grappling much anymore. And I met John Salter. And that was like, and that decision was entirely like, I met him at a seminar and I was like, I got to be around this guy. Like I learned today for the first time in grappling in 5 years, you know? And I go, all right, like this guy's grad, look at his Instagram, like, if this guy's, 30% of who he seems to be, like a good Christian guy, I'm like, I got to be around this guy. So we go down and train. I feel like I just got my black belt the week before. I was so embarrassed when he asked. He's like, what did you get? Are you a black belt, brown belt? I was like, yellow belt. Like, I'm a black belt, you know? Yeah. And I'm like, oh, we got to get up here. Like, all of a sudden, I'm going every chance I can get off of work early. Like, I'm there 3 times a week. I'm falling asleep on the way home. Like, no. This is not, like, I don't exaggerate a lot. Like, bro, I remember getting off the gas station, the water, you're like, I worked 6 hours, 8 hours today. I go down here, you know. And then within like 3-4 months to train with him, we moved again. So every time we plant roots somewhere, I look at Casey and I'm like, I don't know how to tell you this. I'm sorry. Like, I think what I need to do is, and every time she's like, okay, let's do it.
I was going to ask, you said you were uprooting from these gyms and Casey was always with you. I didn't really, how long have you guys been together? Like a real long time?
We'll be together 10 years. August 16th. August 1st. I'm really earning the points here. August 1st, 2015 was our first date. Oh, wow. We didn't actually speak at our first date because I'm wildly socially awkward. No, she got wind because we would hang out at this bar all the time. That's how I met her. I was in a jiu-jitsu cult, right? So we would go everywhere wearing our jiu-jitsu colors and that. Like, she's working there, so we'd hang out there like every night. I don't drink. I never had a drink in my life. I have no business at a bar.
Okay.
I go in, I order a salad and a water, and she starts giving me a hard time because she's funny. I'm, like low key funny, I think. So I'm kind of busting her chops. I go in like 3 times a week for like 3 months. She has no idea I like her.
Wow.
Her boss was training with us, so he's telling her one night when I'm not there, like, this guy loves you, And so whatever, we end up all going out one night, the week of this Naga tournament in Myrtle Beach. But I'm still like a purple belt or a brown belt. So like those things actually kind of mean something to me at that point. It's not like I'm getting ready for like worlds. But so Ali, my buddy, drops the ball. Oh yeah, they compete this weekend. You should come. She's like, I'm gonna come. I'm like, oh shoot. But I never actually got to talk to her because I was warming up with headphones. I saw her, but then by then I'm on the mat, and then by then she had to go to work. I had a whole second match. I go, oh, she probably hates me. And told her she had texted me and was like, hey, like I had to go to work. That was so cool. Blah blah blah. Like, but then that day I was going to Florida on a family vacation. So I'm like, oh. So I get back August 6th. We go on the first date. We go on the world's longest first date. It was like 12 hours long.
Wow.
Not like not inappropriate like that, but just like we hung out. Everywhere that was open, we would go hang out.
Yeah. You just wanted to keep hanging.
And then ever since then, we've been together ever since then. Like literally ever since then. Date 2, I sat her down like a psychopath and was like, I baited her. I'm like, what's your vices? And she's like, I don't really have any, what about you? And I was like, I train like a lot and I want to be the best. And like, I want to be in the UFC. I wasn't even fighting.
Yeah.
And I go, and I think it's going to happen. But like, if it doesn't, I'll stop. If it's going to affect us and our life, like we're married. Like this is like how you would consult your wife. Like I'm going to do these investments, and if it dips, I'm going to pull that. Just no social cues, And I'm like, listen, like I'm going to be sitting there watching a movie, and I don't have to go run because like the anxiety gets to me. And she's like, yeah, I've never really dated anybody that's ambitious before. Like, doesn't sound like a problem. And I promise you, it's never been a problem.
Wow.
It was crazy. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But
bro, you said this like that early.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it was ridiculous. I just felt like I didn't have time to waste. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
of course.
And like, who do you think you are? Like, I would be like, yo, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. And like, even from like, this is how I know that things you call luck or fate are just God's hand, right? Like, like even down to like, her dad should have never said yes when I asked to marry him. I have like no future in anything. You're like, bro, like, it's crazy. It was crazy.
Well,
so.
obviously you did, but yeah, that's having that support system like through those hard because, like you said, ups and downs. Like,
For
I'm
sure,
it was not easy.
No, it was us. It was literally, and maybe it wasn't this because we had a great support system. A lot of people. We were like the island of misfit toys. The people that would join us were all like, it was like this hodgepodge of people that we shouldn't all be friends. Some were like wealthy business owners, and some were like, I'm working in a warehouse together with them in Myrtle Beach for $8 an hour, and you're like, how are we all on this trip together at the fight? And it was just crazy. It's been us against the world. It really has. Like,
so has it been cool for you? Did she have any knowledge in the fighting world or anything like that?
She liked it. She said she liked the UFC.
And then now
she would watch occasionally.
Now she's very involved in your life, your career, everything. Has it been cool to see that progression?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, there was times when I was fighting where I was not burnt out, but I go, I got a fight coming up in main camp. I don't want to watch a card. And she's like, oh, I want to see that fight. I'm putting it on. And you're like, this is, But no, it's been awesome. It's been awesome to watch it progress because like, it's manufactured suffering. I mean, there's been some real suffering too with like contract stuff or fights not coming or stuff like that, losses. But really, when you look at, the parents that are driving to Children's Hospital in Charleston, the kid has cancer, that's real suffering. So we get like this fake suffering where we're still forged in the fire, but without any of the bad crap. It was bad, but it's not bad. Like we legit had 450 credit scores. Like that's horrible, bro. Like we were like living like drug dealers, you know what I mean? Without without the benefits, no money.
Right.
And it's like, bro, like that's like, but that's good because like, like I've heard Dustin Poirier say about his wife, like I never hit that level. I don't think where you're in atmospheres, and maybe I just avoided it. But like, you could never recreate that with somebody else. Like it would be like no one could come along and be like, hey, what's up? And you're like, bro, like that's just never gonna happen. Like, like you know what I mean? Like it was crazy. It was actually unbelievable. Like, truly unbelievable.
Yeah. So how to like dealing with all the ups and downs for 10 plus years while you're going through it, how do you keep your mindset up of I am the best, I know I'm the best, it's gonna happen, it's all gonna click? Like,
see, I kind of hate that mindset because I think that's you gotta have the, and Ben Askren says, I think he's a great sports psychology guy, you gotta have delusional belief, but you have to have emotional maturity, and somewhere they meet, you know what I mean? And I think that I'm the best, it's not like I would have taken any fight you offered me to get to the UFC or Bellator like 100%. Okay. And I would have thought I could have won, but I also knew I wasn't the best. Okay. I was trying to become the best, and I thought I could. Like I thought I could be a world champion when I started.
Yeah.
So yes, you need to have that, but I think the delusion is just delusion unless you're working like a lunatic. And like I broke all the stupid rules that I would tell people to pull back now. I was working out like a lunatic. Like, and when I met Salter, he trains like a lunatic. So now it was like a one-upping contest of like him being like, well, I'm in Bellator getting ready to fight for the title. I'm not going to be outworked by some kid because I'm old. He's older than me by like 8 years or 7 years.
Yep.
He's not going to let some 27-year-old do more sessions than him. And I'm going to keep up with my hero. And now we're pushing each other. Like we did literally 4 sessions a day every day.
Yeah.
It was horrible. Like for your central nervous system, it's horrible. But it was like, man, like that's iron sharpens iron. And then even as a person, his faith is so strong. You're like, dude, like, and I remember saying to Casey, like, we're gonna move. I'm 5-2, or I'm 5-1. I'm like, listen, we don't know if this is gonna work out, but I'm gonna become a better man being around him. My faith's gonna grow. I think our marriage will get better. Him and Lindsay are great. They have a good marriage. They have been where we had been, and it's like it just pushes you. So I don't think I started like that, and then after the first loss, everything shifted, and from there on out, it was like, I think relying on others way more. Like I've looked at Casey so many times and be like, should I quit? Yeah. Should I do this? And she's like, no, I think you got a lot left. You know, before Contender Series, we sat at dinner a week out, and I said, so what are we going to do when we go out there and we lose and we come back this time next week? Like, what does that look like for us? Do I stop? Do I get a job? What do we do? And I mean, she'll tell you clear as day. That was our conversation, you know. And she's like, you're not going to lose. Like, we're not even going to think about that. We'll deal with that if it happens, you know. Yeah. And I've had that a lot of times.
Does that give you more pressure, you think?
Yeah, I mean, bro, that was a 16-week lead up or 14-week lead up. Yeah. I've never been that close to a nervous breakdown in my life. A real like you go like I'm way like so crazy. Like it was horrible. Everything at that point was like in the dumps. And you're like, this is either going to be the best thing ever, or I'm coming back to literally nothing. And you're like, we got to figure this out.
For those that don't know, can you walk me through like the Contenders and what that looks like and
so
what that might lead to?
I think I was really fortunate because I was 7-2 when I got on there. It's a fine record, but at that time there was such few UFC shows. There was such, Dana White's Contender Series wasn't. It was a third season. I really wasn't that aware of it. I had talks of being on it a year before, so I knew what it was, but I'd never really watched. I think 3 is where it actually got some traction. Like some of the guys off there, you start knowing. That was Impa was on that season 2. Jamie Pickett was on there for this area at least. Yeah. And so I didn't have that on my radar. I'm like 3 wins away because there's guys that are 10-1 unsigned. I think having the manager I had at the time, who was kind of a little bush league, but I think it helped me because he only had like 3 55ers. And out of those guys, I had the most fights and the best record because everybody else was like lower, like maybe like 2-3 fights. And they don't really looking for that. And so in the email from Sean Shelby, he says, who do you have that fits the criteria to be on the show? I think I was the only one. So they picked. Because they don't want to do like if I'm Joe Solecki management, he's not going to do 10 fighters at 55 all from my company. Because then it's kind of, it's not fair to the manager, not fair to the fighters.
Yep.
So I almost felt like I didn't deserve to be there, but I was like, I don't care if they, whatever, I'll do it. Because the other guy was like 9-1 or 10-2 or something like that. He was very good, bunch of submissions, but I just remember being like, all right, like I'm just gonna take it and go with it. And we went to Vegas like the day after you get the call, maybe a couple of days. They're like, all right, you're coming to Vegas in 3 days for pre-production. Bring somebody with you who can, do a little bit of everything for the so hold pads, wrestle, all that.
Okay. And
my boxing coach at the time is like, he might be like, I don't believe in that. Like, I don't think that's like biblical, but he might be like an angel that God sent on earth, like the best guy. But he's a 2-time leukemia survivor. He has braces. He can't walk well. He can't grapple. And he's in his 50s at the time. So I would bring him normally. I can't. So I call my best friend Ali, who I've been training with forever. He was at every single gym in Myrtle Beach with me, but he's back in New York at this point. He's working a job. Now he owns 2 successful gyms. I'm like, yo, you want to go to Las Vegas? He's like, yeah. We go out there. Bro, crazy experience. Just one day at the Apex. The first night, we can't even go in. We just take a run from the hotel to get by the UFC sign. We're taking a picture. And I remember like, bro, I just maybe I come back one time. Yeah. Because your goals just shift. Like you start out like this, of course. And then you go down and up and you go, oh man, like that's $5,000 guaranteed. Like if I win, it's 10. Like I'll be rich. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no.
And as an adult, that's not a lot of money, but you're like, that'll buy me a new life. That'll get me, I can pay off the debt and get my credit back, you know? So I remember looking at him and just being like, bro, like if we could just get back here one time, And so you go back out. It was so much pressure, but it was so weird. I think it's a God thing because like when you go out there, you feel all this pressure and the second the doors open, it's just calm. You just like, I remember looking at Casey and being like her having the panic I had all camp, me being fine and giving her a nod, like I got this. And I watch it back and I go, bro, who do you think you are? Like you don't have anything, like it's crazy, but like that's the drug that everybody's trying to get out of fighting, So it was unbelievable. It was like a fever dream, bro. And really it could have ended there. for all the crap we went through, that could have
Yeah.
been my Rocky moment and been done, and it'd been a beautiful thing. You
Yeah.
know, it was pretty
Wow.
neat. So we got the contract, and that was it.
That started.
I asked before. I actually brought that we have our nice little agenda, but I asked John before about asking you this question because this is not something that you really get to talk to people about. Everybody has a dream, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. Not everyone as determined as you, and look where it led you to. But I gotta know, like, for almost no one ever really accomplishes their childhood dream. What did it feel like? Did you ever have that epiphany of like, I did it?
No. It changes. It's dynamic, I think. I think that's kind of the curse of the human condition, right? Because in my mind, when I got into fighting, oddly enough, I don't think anybody that knows me would think this. I loved Conor McGregor when I started fighting. That's what I was watching and listening. I'm like, I'm going to be a billionaire, this and that. And now I see it and I go, oh, I won. I won the game. Like, he lost the game, you know? So, and it sounds like a loser talk. Like, oh, you were 5-4. He was, you know.
Yeah.
But it's like, bro, like, I really think I won, you know? So, like, I don't know that I accomplished. I think it's actually better what happened, you know? Originally, I wanted to be Allen Iverson when I started as a kid. I loved the Sixers. Then I realized I'd be 5'9".
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it wasn't going to happen. So, yeah, it was just like, I think that night, yes, but it wasn't that. I remember the best moment, literally, being able to hug Casey and be like, I got us. Like, it's my turn for a little bit. She was working 2 jobs and all this stuff. But then we were sitting at dinner afterward and just being like, man, like, look at this. Like, you know, so I had 2 bosses at the chiropractic office I worked at in Myrtle Beach before I moved away. Taught their kids jiu-jitsu. They were like my first introduction to like professionalism. Like, hey, listen, like when you go to your first press conference, I'm going to show you how to buy a suit. I'm going to do, you know, they were in our wedding. The wife officiated our wedding. The husband was they were so successful, so nice. And I remember getting the call and being like, I get 4 tickets. I know you guys can't both leave the practice. One of you needs to be there. So you guys fight it out and whoever comes, come, you know. And Dr. Torrey came. So Ali was there. He's been with me for the first, we were just talking on the phone. We were talking about some business endeavors and stuff, and he's like, bro, I believe in you like nobody ever has, you know? And I was doing jiu-jitsu, and I'm like 19, and he goes, he had a liquor store. The weirdest thing for a guy that's never had a drink also to have. And then we're hanging out there. He'd be like, oh, come by the little store. Hang out. We'd hang out outside like it was Satriale's. We'd just sit there and talk. Come chop it up, baby. That's what he would say.
There you go.
And I want you, because we were just talking about you, bro. We were talking about Joe Lozon. I think you could be in the UFC one day. I'm not even fighting at this point. Like, and I remember it clear as day. Like, he's there, you know? And then Casey, and then the owner from the gym in Myrtle Beach came. And then I'm trying to think, oh, my brother. So I had some ups and downs with some family stuff of them not wanting me to fight. And it's all great now, and it worked out. And I understand the concerns now that I'm a parent. But the only one that was with me from start to finish and didn't waver was my brother. And he was there. Yeah. And that was cool, too, because, like, that was like like, thank you. You know what I mean? Like, and, bro, my brothers had to lend me money. Like, a lot of things. Where you're like, I'm sorry. Like, older brother stuff, you know?
Yep.
And being at dinner with them, Salter in the corner, the boxing coach I remember, you know, talking about. And, man, just sitting at dinner alone and being like, this is what it's about. Like, this is what it's about. And I remember saying that in my scrum, which, like, is not, it's kind of loser talk, I guess. And I remember being like, like, I'm so excited about this, blah, blah, blah. Like, I have a lot of big goals. And I said something like, I want to leave this with my relationships and my marriage and my family intact. And I don't know where that came from. I don't know why I said it. And and that was what happened more than anything else, you know. And I think a lot of people don't have that same path. So it's kind of interesting. It was a very awesome thing. Same in DC. I mean, I got to have, but it's the people, dude. It's the journey. It's so different. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, my grandfather came to the fight in my debut was in DC, so it's close to home. It's close to North Carolina. So many people came out. Like, I didn't even know you people cared. Like, so cool. My childhood coach, we had breakfast with the next day. Like, those are actually the memories more than any, like, oh, he hit me with it. Like, I don't know. It doesn't really, it was all great. But that was the stuff in the gym, getting to know Jeff and Scott, all these guys. That's the memories, dude. It really is pretty cool. I'm rambling.
No, that's okay. It's all really, really cool stuff. And I think that's, as you're on this long journey, when you finally make it out to Vegas for the first time and you're taking pictures from the UFC signs, like, do you take a step back in that moment too and be like, think about young Joey back in the day, right? Like, put some perspective on it of enjoying the journey a bit?
No, I was really bad at that early on.
Okay.
And then at the end, I got good at it. Because I started losing a little bit. Like, I lost one fight by the slam, and I started going, man, if this is all taken away tomorrow, where does it land me? You know what I mean? But that can be dangerous too, I think, because then you take once you know the magician's trick, you can never unsee it, right? So you're like, oh man, like, I don't know, like, you would love it, but you love it for different reasons. It's like, it's like any other relationship in your life. Like you might meet two people in first grade, and you're friends because you had this proximity or the sandbox, and then you're friends because they stuck up for you in high school, and then like there's different reasons, and I think fighting's the same thing. It's a dynamic relationship. Like, oh, I love it because I'm going to be rich, I'm going to be Conor McGregor and famous. Then you go, maybe not. Maybe I'm going to get hate on Instagram and have a boring decision, but oh man, I got a bonus, and that let me move to Charlotte to train at Jim O full time. And oh man, it paid for my kids' hospital bills so they could be born. Like this bought me a new life. Oh, it bought me vulnerability with my wife and my kids that now we have this weird, deeper connection than what everybody else seems to have. Like just so like it's just such a dynamic thing. I don't even know how to describe it. Like I could have never saw it being that, but every now and then people would post stuff or say something, and I felt like I had the wherewithal in the moment to screenshot it. Like, and some were bad and some were good. Like one of my coaches that I left sent me he sent me like 30 or 40 like wildly drunken rant messages about me and Casey and all these things, like stuff I would never even tell her to this day. And one was like, "You will never ever be in the UFC. You've hit your ceiling." And I screenshot that. I go, I have a weird feeling. I'm gonna look back at this one day and I'm gonna just want to remember this. But then on the flip side, Dr. Troy, lady I'm telling you about, my pro debut, they do a really good job of like honoring accomplishments, even when they're not that big in my mind. And it was like, look at this. You said a year ago you're gonna be a pro. Like, and I go, man, like I'm gonna want to read this message. One of my best friends, Hunter, he sent me this message, big long thing after a loss, this and that. And it was like, and I really don't care that you're doing all these awesome things because I'd be your best friend even if you were a hobo. And I was like, bro, like, that's a blessing. So sometimes you see stuff in the moment and you go, oh, this is. But at the end, I feel like I started to get old with it, and that might have not been the best thing, but it was the best for enjoying the moment, if that makes sense.
Well, you had Joe's very humble, a very, very successful career, and now you're kind of transitioning into this new role as a coach, as a cornerman, a mentor. And the one thing I always say about you is that you lead, but you lead by example. That's always a big, a very big attribute, and I think you do an amazing job at it. But getting into this role where you're mentoring, coaching, and having these other people leaning on you, what kind of hindsight? What are you thinking? Or how much do you feel like your experience is helping? Like, what's that been like for you?
Yeah, I think I love it. And that was a telltale sign at the end too. Like people were walking in for jiu-jitsu class and I go, and this is nice. Like I remember that person's name tonight that I didn't remember when I had the fight coming up. Like, yeah, how selfish am I? Like I should know their name. And like, oh man, this is fun. Like this is rewarding too. And I'm enjoying it a lot in different capacities. But I was telling you before the podcast, I'm wrestling with it a little bit because like I think it's got to be the right people. Like I don't think fighting is for most people. And I don't think it's for most people who fight, if I'm being honest. So like a trip like yours, awesome. Like I think I said, maybe I texted it to you. Maybe I just thought it and texted it to Jeff. I was like, I'll never be the same after this trip. Like this was a life-changing, eye-opening experience. You watch everybody at dinner, friends, family. This is wonderful. Then other trips, it's not a knock on the athletes, but you go, I don't know if this is the best path for them. I don't know if we're making them sip their own success like poison. So like I don't know that, because a lot of it becomes Peter Pan syndrome, right? Like, so I was talking about it with my buddy and I was like, some of it is like if my kid fought and I go, well, I don't really think anybody should fight, but if you're going to do it, I know where the traps are, so I'm going to do it with you. Like I don't want you to do it, but I'm going to do it with you. And I feel like that's all my friends that I want to support the fight. I don't think you guys shouldn't do it, but I go, it's dangerous, it's this, it's that. I don't want to see you suffer and be in the hospital for no money, whatever it is. But then there's the other side where people are going to do it and they're not even equipped for it. And they don't train like how anything close to what I would recommend training like. And I go, well, now I feel like the parent in high school that goes, they're going to drink no matter what, so I'm just going to throw the party. And it's like, I'm not going to be that guy. Like, no, you'll do it without me. Like, and you're going to learn the hard lessons, but better you learn them early and don't end up 30 with nothing and going, oh, I was going to be a fighter. It's like, no, you said you like the idea of being a fighter, you know? So I think you've set a perfect example, right? You go, oh, I hit a hard loss. I want to get my life in order. You're winning. You're winning across the board. You have a Ring of Combat title hanging out. Like that's not it, but but you understand, like it's like that's awesome. And then I worry about the guys that go, I'm going to be UFC champion or nothing. Yeah, you need that mentality, but like, I don't know. I'm wrestling through it. I don't know. I love it. It's a thrill, but it's not fun. It's enjoyable on the other side, right? You walk out and your family's all there and they're screaming and they're raising you up. And we get to disappear in the background and go, man, that's really cool to see. Because I've gotten to do that. So like, I don't know that I want 15 guys in the UFC and to be the guy from Extreme Couture in Vegas every week. Like that kind of sounds like a death sentence to me. I don't want to be on TV. I don't want to be Paulie. from Rocky, the meat guy sticking his face in, you know.
Yeah.
I already had that, and all I got was hate on the internet. So, like, I enjoyed the heck out of it. But you're like, yeah, it was all right. Like,
Yeah.
but I think those moments are awesome. If we're
Yeah.
going to facilitate those for people in a healthy atmosphere, I am all for it.
Yeah.
But then if we're going to facilitate Peter Pan syndrome, where it's like, hey, bro, you're an MMA fighter on your resume, but you fought 3 times in 10 years, you just don't have a job.
Yeah.
You're just a grown man without a job.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and at 35, you're going to hate the sport. I'm never going to see you again. You're never going to train for fun. Like, in that capacity, I think I can almost serve better with regular people sometimes. The person that comes in and goes, bro, I hate my job. You know, my wife and I are in counseling, this, that, and the other thing. And this has helped us as a family. And you're like, oh, man, like my ego thought I had to be the next Firas Zahabi. And now I go, oh, it was this. You know, so I think it's a balance of both. And I love both. And it's really where God calls you to serve. What is he asking you to do?
Yeah.
But I'm really wrestling through that as a coach going, I don't think it's for most people. I don't think it's for most people who actually do it. I think when you get the guys that are in the right place, the right time with nothing to lose, like the 3 of you that weekend, flawless. Like chef's kiss, awesome job. You know, you get a guy at the UFC, you go, oh, you might, you know, he's going to build a resume for himself. He's going to make a couple of bucks and he'll be fine. But like that early on, I remember the first guy I ever trained from like scratch was walking out in Wilmington and he's like 20. And he's got his parents there and he has little siblings that are like 5 or 6. And I remember it hitting me and being like, I'm responsible for him right now. And I might not be, but in my mind, I'm responsible for him. And they have no idea what this can go. They don't know about the 4 a.m. hospital visits. And like, now they do. He's been through some stuff. But you go, they're like, yay, take a picture. And you're like, oh, man, like, you don't understand like, have I messed up, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's not I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's like Rory McDonald walks away in his fight and goes, oh, I think this is sinful. I don't think that at all. I love the sport. I love watch every card. But I don't know. I don't know if everybody that wants to fight should be a yes. I think it should be very selective.
So you guys, this is me as the non-fighter talking to 2 fighters. At what point as the fighter, right? I could even just walk in tomorrow and just start training. Do I kind of make that call of, am I going to pursue this professionally or keep going? Or is it more just the average Joe coming in because I enjoy doing this on a Thursday night? It helps me stay in shape, let out some loose. Like, is there even a decision that comes? Or what do you guys see from that standpoint? Because at Jimmo, you have both, right?
It's funny because, like, and that's another thing with fighters, you know. I think we have a really great fight atmosphere. Sometimes you got to keep that balance because sometimes people start doing things like they go, regular people. And you go, regular people? Yeah. What are you? Mm-hmm. Are you superhuman? Are you divine? Like, what are you talking about? Like, that would be like, to steal, you know, Diego's term, like, that'd be like all these people that come in for the night class calling you brogies because you're all Peter Pan with no job. Like, we got to, like, you're just doing something cool, you know? And I think that was the so I don't want to get away from the question, but like that was a mistake I thought too. I thought I would get to the UFC and then all your problems are going to go away. You're going to walk in and they're going to go, hey, everybody, the UFC guy's here. He doesn't have to pay for his check or, you know, whatever. All it did was go, I want to buy a house. I have the down payment, this, and that. They go, you don't have a job. And you go, no, the thing on ESPN. You can see me, Jim Miller. They're like, the underwriter said nah. And you're like, oh, nobody cares. Like, in the best way possible. Nobody cares. My coach Holmes had. He goes, Joe, nobody cares. Yeah. Like, I like you anyway. I liked you before that. Like, nobody cares. He would have goes, nobody cares, but I do. You know, like, but that's it. Like, I won the thing. And you're like, is that good? You're like, no, it's the light heavyweight championship of the world, the UFC. Like, oh, and do a lot of people win that? You're like, oh my gosh, how do they not know? Like, that's like, like, that's just, it's not that big of a deal. It's awesome. It's worth pursuing. But I think that's the thing is like, you can grow into that from a job. You can go, I'm pretty good at this jiu-jitsu thing. I didn't know I was going to be good at it. And then 2 years later, you're in a cage. And then 2 years later after that, you have success, you quit your job. Like, I think too many people in this generation, and I could be totally wrong. Maybe the sport has just changed. You need to do it. But I had a job till I had a real 30-hour-a-week job till I was 5 and 1. And then I had odd jobs in some capacity, whether it was like personal training or till the camp of the Contender Series.
That's really interesting because I feel like, you know, being in this community, we know so many people who are pursuing it. They're 25, 24, even 30, and they don't have any income. That's just their whole goal in its entirety is go to the UFC, big organization. And I guess like as a coach, like, that's gonna be tough to have those conversations. Or is that something do you feel it's your responsibility?
My first, maybe my first or second job, my first time cornering someone up here, and I'm so new. Like I've been coming here since to Jimmo since 2017 or 18. Like one of the most OGs of the guys, but
Mm-hmm.
like I wasn't here full time. And when we come in, Jeff would make a lot of trainings just for us. So like getting introduced to these guys, I got a guy losing a decision being like, it reminded me of a hostage situation. Like, I need to know right now, can I make it or can I not? You're like, I don't know, but don't jump. Like,
He said that
like,
to you?
yeah, you're like, put down the gun. Like, you're like, bro, like that's not what it's about. Like, because if I tell you no, you quit on Monday. I never see you again at any training capacity. You miss out on all the great times.
Yeah.
You could be at Nick's fight.
Yeah.
You being a great teammate, being a great guy.
Yeah.
On great experiences, and maybe you weren't the guy in the cage. You're the guy who helped the guy. What's wrong with that?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that was something for me that I learned early on when I lost my first fight. I was driving. I don't try not to text and drive, and I was driving down the highway coming home with my wife and one of my best friends, the guy Hunter. And I'm looking up everybody who lost a fight in their first few fights on Tabology, like a lunatic. And when we got home, he's like, bro, he's like, this isn't healthy. Like, you're going to crash the car with us in it because you're worried. Like, listen to yourself. And I thought about, like, what does this look like? And I had to go back and fight in Myrtle Beach, and I was had to humble myself. And I stopped, and I'm like, no, like, yes, it's still UFC or bust. I still want to provide a living for Casey, but I go, if I fail, I love the movie Cinderella Man. I love the story of James Braddock. And I go, okay, so if I end up fighting, in Myrtle Beach for, sponsors, and it's $4 or $5 grand after this, and I'm working on the side, and it's making ends meet and helping me pay the rent, like, is that a failure? Like, so it's not this like elitist mentality of like, but it's about actually pursuing it. Like, it should be somewhat rushed. Like, it should be somewhat, I want to know how bad I am. That's my mentality. Like, I want to know how far I can get. And when I can't get there, I'm probably going to be done. Like, you're not going to, like, I don't want to sit at the blackjack table and that you go, all right, you're not hot anymore. You lost $1,000. Yeah, but I think 2,000 more. Like, all of a sudden you're like, bro, you used up all your, like that was kind of the conversation retiring. Like, I've lost 3 in a row. That was always my safeguard. Now I know it's the UFC and some were weird circumstances, but I go, yeah, but like, I don't want my kids to go on and be like, oh, 5 in a row, Dad, huh? You really lost a step. Like, I can truly say when I'm retired, I'm still at my best. I just matchups, whatever decision, whatever it is. You go, yeah, but I still had it. I never want to be the guy somebody feels bad for. And you're like, bro, that's the guy. He's There's a guy that comes down and fights. I think he's 15 and 118. Yeah, he fights in North Carolina. You go, I don't ever want to be that. I don't want to be Tony Ferguson. 9 fight. Here he goes again, old Tony Ferguson. Like, I know he's making a lot of money, but I still feel bad for him. Like, I just think these guys, it's a balance of that. Like, like I think what you're doing is perfect. I do. Like, I think that's awesome. Like, you're making memories at the highest. Like, that's awesome. But like, after a while, you're like, yeah, I'm a fighter. Like, I don't really consider you in my fraternity, and not because you're not in the UFC, so and so who's 1 in 5 saying that, but because you didn't actually give your best. You just kind of played the role. Like, I don't count you in the fraternity. Like, I don't know. That's kind of weird.
That's a good point from my vantage point, spending a lot of time with Nick here recently. So I've seen the progressions of the fights before the 3 years off, 2 years off, 2 years off. And then this one, the mentality was totally different. And that was one thing you said a lot of, no matter what happens in this fight, I confidently gave my best. And everyone can respect that, right? No matter what you're doing. What
chills.
Yeah, like, it's amazing.
Well, speaking of you saying you're not like, you didn't go out, you were still at your best. It's not over for Joe Solecki. Now you're doing jiu-jitsu and you're starting to compete at like the highest level there. What's that looking like? Any goals there?
Yeah. I mean, it's weird because like this isn't like MMA for me. I'm not like I got to make it or I don't. So it's a fine line, but it's a lot more relaxed environment too. I like it because it's enjoyable. It's a little easier on the body. I don't have to come home and be bloody for the kid. Like at the end, my daughter starts asking questions. And you just go, man. Like I enjoy it. I can get that, scratch that itch, but it's a much lower dose of the drug in the best way possible. Like, we go up. I went up to Fury Grappling. I didn't think the decision went the right way, but like, great time. I'm hanging out with my daughter in the casino earlier, and we're playing the little miniature golf course. Like, because it's not life or death. No one's going to the hospital realistically. It's a set amount of money. I cut 5 pounds, not 20. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like I cut my weight in an hour. It was awesome. In an infrared sauna, chilling out with the guys. Like, it's just way more. And I think when I moved here, I had that in my mind. Like my North Star when I moved here, well, obviously it's Jesus, but like as far as like human beings, was like I was thinking like Dave Schultz, right? I'm thinking like, I'm going to be an active competitor, but I'm going to be coaching. Like I got to have the bandwidth for that, and then also leading in some capacity. I think jiu-jitsu is that. So I want to do these opens. I want to try to do ADCC trials. Like, I want to see where I can go. Like, I kind of left at a pretty high level right before I could have maybe done something, and now I'm back. So, I would love to get on UFC Jiu-Jitsu. I think that thing is awesome. So we're just gonna see where it goes. But it's fun to be learning again, and it's fun to see like because for a couple months, I'm like retired. I go, okay, I want to get back to it. Like I know I can grapple, no doubt, but I go, can I do jiu-jitsu still? Like sport, like inverting and going for legs. Like do I have the capability to move and like all of a sudden I go, oh, I enjoy it a lot, and B, I still got it. Like this is fun,
Yeah.
And that is it's the best of both worlds because now you get the competitive fighters, but you also get the people that maybe can't give up their job. They got a couple kids, they want to go compete at a high level, and you go, let's go to the IBJJF tournament, let's go to the super fight event, let's go. And now you're touching a whole other group of people. You're learning from them. You're hanging out, and you go, man, like it's the best of both worlds. So really, really fun.
Yeah.
Awesome.
One topic I want to touch on before we wrap things up is faith. Right?
Yeah.
So Nick was telling me that you actually led the group prayer before the fight in Atlantic City with all the Jimmo fighters. What role does faith play, one, in your life as a whole, two, when it comes to fighting and keeping your career going?
Yeah, it's everything, and it's funny because like it sounds hokey, but I remember being like, like I think when God's done with me in MMA, he'll let me know. And in my mind, it was like a decline, And I mean, the slam in Austin, you're like, well, he might be telling me something. Like he might be testing me with adversity, but he might also be like, hey man, like I don't think this. And then it goes, and you go, oh man, like yeah, it's pretty powerful, right? Like, and you see stories where guys come back and stuff, but it's everything. It's everything. It was the craziest shift for me. I remember getting curious about like reading the Bible app again, like just the verse of the day, I think I even got one tattooed on me right out of the gate. Like, you coming hot. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting that. I love that, And then John Salter appears, and then you go, oh, okay, I moved to Wilmington. And start asking him questions, and then come to our church, and then the next thing you go, man, like, what does it take to get in that baptismal? Like, I'm kind of scared to ask. Like, I'm fighting on TV, and I'm like, yo, we've been here. By the time I got in there, I've been there 2.5 years before I ever got in the thing, and I'm like, I'm so nervous. Like, yo, it's crazy. And I was some form of believer growing up, but it was like, I was Catholic, so like a lot of it was like, I didn't really have the knowledge. It was very fear-based, and I was like a foxhole Christian. Like, two things can't be true at the same time, and I would pray before fights, like desperation, like God, please help me. And then I go, yeah, but I also believe in this law of attraction, and that, please don't cut this to make me think I actually believe it.
No,
like at the time, I go, and like so me and my wife were doing this little question card game the other night. And it was like, what's something about you that you didn't know about me? And I go, oh, that the universe revolved around me and that everything wanted me to win in life. And she goes, you didn't think that. I go, oh, yes, I did. And she's like, that's crazy. I'm like, I know. Like, so that perspective, it's just a house of cards. And I don't want to be there for anybody when it comes crashing down, because it's like, by that logic, you can't define the kid that's sick or the spouse that died, whatever it is. Like, and that was where I was like, man, I'm going to be okay no matter what. And then through Salty Dog Jiu-Jitsu, I met my pastor buddy, Kevin, Kevin Lehman, that like mentored me a lot. And really, after I lost to Jared Gordon, we started meeting for lunch. And he's like, listen, like you're learning over at that church, but I'm really going to show you the gospel here. We're going to dive into what it means to be like flesh versus spirit. And, because I was a really bad, teammate in the gym for a long time. Like, I would be nice. I would talk to you. I would show you techniques. When it's time to train, like don't talk to me. Don't look at me. Don't come on the area of the mat I'm training on. I got a job to do. You can't so bad. And it was like, man, like that was the shift where I was like, oh, you can do two things at the same time. Like, you don't have to be Michael Jordan where you're a jerk. You can be that competitive and also be a good steward and a good, point everybody back to Christ.
Yep.
And that was everything. It's changed our marriage. It's changed how I parent. I was a believer going into parenting, but the constant development has changed everything. It's like, man, like, and you watch certain actions and you go, well, no, I like, and this is not a me thing, but like Drakkar Close, right? He slams me on my head. He crotch chops over me. And he's like, I wish I would have killed him. I'm like, oh, thanks. I have 2 kids at home. So I'm really glad you didn't, but like, I had a couple, and it sucks because you go like the pre-fight prayer. God, I remember specifically that night, I was feeling so weird, and I was in the tunnel, and I just kept saying like, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I'll fear no evil, for you're with me. And it was like, I don't know if that was like hindsight, that something bad was going to happen, and like that was on my heart, or a self-fulfilling prophecy. But I kept repeating it. I was like, I feel horrible. Like, I don't know what's going to happen.
Oh, wow.
And then I got slammed on my head. But before we walked out, we prayed. I led the prayer. And I said, no matter what happens tonight, Lord, use me as you see fit. He was like, oh,
yeah.
so funny you should say that, Joe. Oh, I'm gonna, and you're like, oh, but also let me win,
Yeah.
And I got so many messages like, man, the way you handled yourself, you go, well, first of all, that's how I was raised. Like, I have to give credit to my parents. Like, if I showed my butt after, like, they would be furious. Yeah. But second, like, that's not me, bro. Like, how did you not yell at him or fight him? Like, and Zach, who's awesome, best teammate, cornerman, like, awesome guy, was like mouthing off to Jakar. And I remember in my haze being like, Zach, it's okay, chill out. And I go, that's not me, bro. I'm from the Northeast. Like, I want to fight you. I'm Italian. I want to fight you. Like, and I go, yeah, it's the Holy Spirit. Like, that's not me. Like, my flesh wants to kill that guy. He wants to find him in an alley and run it back, And that's the Holy Spirit. And that's like the true growth where you go, nah, I think he needs it more. And I really believe that. And I you never could have convinced me 10 years ago that I'd be like, yeah, I think he needed to win more, Wow. And you look at circumstances in his life and you go, man, I hope he finds Jesus. Like, I was seeing him with his family afterward and how he was acting. And I go, wow, I think he needs Jesus. Like, and I'm not knocking that guy. I'm just saying in general, McGregor on the thing, right? Your wife said this and that, and blah, 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 while he's with the broken leg. And I go, I was insulted. I go, is it weird that I feel bad for him? Like, I think our kids are going to have better lives than his. I think he needs Jesus, it sounds preachy and condescending, but it's like, you could have never convinced me otherwise, bro. Like, I think I've made posts about it before. I've been like, yo, leave Faith out of the post-fight interview. Like, when I was like a younger kid on Twitter being an idiot. And I'm like, God's got a sense of humor, because now he's like, oh, well, now you're that guy, and everybody saying something to you,
Yep.
Wow.
That was incredible. That was incredible, and it actually kickstarted a thought in my head around the social media era, even the gambling era of what we're going through. Like, how do you at the UFC level and the higher up levels, one, where gambling's legal and people are gambling on you, and then also where Twitter is so big, X and Instagram, everything's so big, and you're on national TV, so you're going to have people talking about you. How do you keep the noise out? Or is it hard to? And then, like, how do you balance all of that?
It is hard to. You start to learn that you can't answer everybody, and you got to start protecting yourself on fight week. And I think Holtzman would tell me that. He was very good about setting boundaries. Very good. Very respectful, but very good about being like, I'm not answering anything until after the fight. I didn't learn that till the end, honestly. At the end, I didn't really care. Like, I've had people say stuff, and it throws off your whole week.
Okay.
Why was I so worried, You get everything from, like, death threats to, like, I'm going to come kill your family. Legitimately, a voice memo, I'm going to come kill your family. And then you realize, you go, listen, it's Saturday, and then next Friday it all stops. Why? Well, because this person doesn't hate me. There's another fight. They lost. I ruined their parlay, whether I won or lost, whatever it was. Yeah. They thought I shouldn't have won. I got the decision. They hate me. I lost. I was a shoo-in. They hate me. They don't hate me. They don't know you. But if you don't do that, what I do find is you don't get the good messages. And man, you get so many. Maybe not as many, but the ones that stick out where you're like, bro, I can't even believe you were watching. Somebody watched me mouth sorry to Jeff when I lost to Grant Dawson because I couldn't get up off bottom. And he's a fighter. And he was like, bro, like, my son asked me why you were saying sorry. And I got to tell my 12-year-old son, like, how we feel as fighters and this and that and the other thing. And he said, you have nothing to be sorry for. Well, and it was a teachable moment for my son. Like, thanks. We never talk about this stuff. And I'm like, wow. Screenshot. Like, oh, thank you, bro. Like I'm, happy that I could help somebody, Yeah. So you got to find the balance. But I think with friends and family, you just go, listen, like, I'm going to stop you right there. Hey, you're not going to believe what this guy's saying. I'm going to stop you right there.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Remember, don't be mad. He's got to say these things. That's what I start doing at the end. He's got to say something, dude. Don't worry about it. I don't want to know. Please don't tell me the odds,
Yeah.
But it's hard to avoid because now gambling's so intertwined with it. I look at around the arena at the Apex and the last fight, it pops up like minus or plus 600. I'm like, oof. And then it was this stat underneath. Like, you can't not see it. It's the biggest screen. And it goes, when there's this big of an age difference, the odds are like, and I was like, all right. And I remember looking at like Zach and Ali and being like, yo, we're going to defy the odds, boys. Something like that. Something cheesy.
Yeah, of course.
We did not, in fact, defy the odds. But, it's like, you got to just, when you realize they got to say something, right? Like, I unraveled over comments before that mean nothing. Like, why am on a Monday after a fight? I fought Jim Miller. Why am I tuning in to listen to what John Anik and Kenny Florian are going to say about me? That's so narcissistic. And then when they didn't, it was kind of a boring fight. I think his ceiling might be lower than we thought. Like, and you go, bro, why do I care? Like, oh my gosh. Like, you said it at dinner, right? At the fight or breakfast. I think the best thing is to not be seen and heard. Like, you do it and then you disappear. I think it's why Jim Miller's a hero of mine. Like, he goes out, he fights, he disappears. If he puts content out, it's goofy. Like, you don't care what you think about him. He goes, bro, I have 46 fights in the UFC. I've made, I think it's like $2 million in bonuses alone. Like, and I disappear off the grid. Like that's the best way to be.
Yeah.
Because you see these guys, John Jones arguing with people on Twitter. Like,
Yep.
I think you need actual Jesus, brother, not the one you're claiming.
Yeah.
You know, I think you need to. It doesn't matter. Like, I wish I could do it all again.
Yeah.
That's why I think coaching and stuff. It is a part of like keep guys from the same mistakes that
Yeah.
you make. You know.
Well, Joe, you're extremely insightful. You know, obviously you have a lot to offer. Where can people find you? I know you were thinking about starting a podcast. You released some great technique videos. You're coaching. Where can we look for more Joe Solecki?
Yeah, always come to Jimmo. There's jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, MMA, everything you can want for everybody, pretty much. Kids at this age, or kids at this point too. Like kids programs growing. So always there in some capacity. You know, doing jiu-jitsu, of course. I'm trying to get on some of these promotions and do all that. And then YouTube, I have Joe Solecki. I think it's just my name, Joe Solecki. Maybe Joe Solecki MMA.
We'll add it in the description.
Yeah,
too.
mostly just jiu-jitsu content right now. And then the topics are more MMA based because I think there's a lot of stuff that people don't know about. You know, I did one video, 3 things not to say to a fighter, and like I couldn't believe the response it got because everybody goes, "Oh my gosh, I've been asked all those." You know, and you're like, it's normal to us, but your family thinks that asking what time the fight starts on fight night is a good thing. You know, so just trying to provide some insight, have some fun. And we're gonna try to do a podcast, I think, as well, and you know, kind of. I like one of my favorite things to do is to like cross contaminate with like networks and like introduce 2 people. And now when you go to New York, you train with my buddy Ali at Glory Martial Arts, or you're in Jersey, you go to my coach Hassett, and everybody likes each other. Like I want to do more of that. I think a podcast can do that because now you go, man, I would have never heard this guy. Oh, like where are you at? I'm going to New York. Can I train at Ali's? Yeah, absolutely. Like I think you bring awareness to that. It also helps me too. People watch the stuff, but it's one of my favorite things, and I don't know where I get that from. Like, I remember thinking about it's just long-winded, but I would watch my grandfather as a kid at the family events, and he'd always be in the background recording everything on this giant thing. And I go, it's enjoyable for you? Like, really? And now you sit back and you go, man, the best thing ever, someone was going to go to New York, and they're like, I'm going to train at Ali's for a week before my fight. And I go, that's so enjoyable for me. Like, I love that. So I think, like, we can kind of cross worlds by having a podcast or having guests on or, you know, stuff like that. So I want to hopefully facilitate some of that in the future, too.
Well, be sure to share it. That was
of course.
Absolutely a pleasure having you. Thank you so much for coming on to the Jock Podcast, and we hope to see you more.
Cheers, our first guest.
Yeah,
there we
thanks for having
go.
me.
Cheers, of course.